What's up, Olive? Do you want to help me build the... Hey! Do you want to help me build the greenhouse? Hey! No! She just wants to attack my microphone. You gonna come help? I guess that's a no. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Anderson's Outdoors. Right now I'm inside my little mini greenhouse that we got last week and spent a little bit of time last weekend putting it together. It was really easy to build, and so far it's been pretty good. I think it's definitely going to be helpful for me in terms of having a space that I can put out some of my young, recently potted plants, and for starting seedlings and things like that. So I just wanted to do a quick review of this mini greenhouse and show you what we're doing with it. One important thing about having a little greenhouse like this is to take into account the location. I decided to put mine on my patio because it would offer it a little bit of shelter from the sometimes really high wind that we can have here in the springtime in Albuquerque. And it also gave me a nice flat surface to put it on, which would help it be more sturdy. The way this greenhouse was put together, it just has these little different sizes of poles that slide into these plastic fittings, and it was really quite easy. The shell, the outside of the greenhouse, is a pretty well reinforced mesh coating there. It looks to be fairly durable. So far it has no rips or tears, and it's in pretty good shape. And the way they built it, it does tie to the frame of the greenhouse using these little ties here that are all on the inside. The outside of the greenhouse, the fabric comes down to the bottom, and then it has like this little bit of fabric that kind of gives you a little lip. What I decided to do to add stability to this greenhouse is use these little landscaping blocks to weigh down that greenhouse shell material around the outside, so that when the wind blows, it would really have to blow really hard to pull that away from those blocks and knock this thing over. And it's worked pretty well. I haven't had any problems with that so far. The other thing that I've done to secure it is the greenhouse does come with some little lines that you can tie and stake into the ground. And so at some of these points where it ties to the frame on the inside, it also has a loop on the outside, and then you can kind of use these lines to secure it to the ground, just like a tent. And here, another reason that I put this on my patio is I knew I could secure this to my post here for some added stability. Shortly after we got the greenhouse built, I believe within a day or two, we did experience a day of pretty strong winds, and I decided to evacuate the greenhouse. All right, Olive, what do you think? We're gonna evacuate the greenhouse? Well, it's not even 8 o'clock yet, and the wind is already blowing about as hard as it did yesterday in the afternoon. That's not a good sign. The winds are going to be 20 to 30 miles an hour all day with gusts to 40. So, made the decision, the dramatic decision. We probably better evacuate the greenhouse. Because I don't know. I mean, it might be fine. But yeah, I just don't know. Be better than having the, you know, I mean, if that thing does come apart, could really trash all these plants. In my mind, it was almost an emergency type situation. I really wasn't sure with how small and lightweight this greenhouse was, if it would even survive. And I didn't want to come home from work to find that it had been shredded or knocked over and all of my seedlings were going to be scattered around the yard. So I did take everything out of the greenhouse and just left it weighed down and secured to the ground with the guy wires
and to my surprise, it really weathered the winds quite well. So the following day was going to be back to normal with just light breezes, and I just put everything back in the greenhouse. And since then, it's been doing quite well. This greenhouse is constructed with a zipper door that is probably about 5 feet high. So I do have to duck a little bit to get in. The door rolls up and you can tie it if you want to keep the door up, which I do on occasion. So there's plenty of space in this greenhouse with the lower shelves and then the 2 additional shelves on both sides. Down here I've got my fig starts in this container. Some of the seedlings I have started. They're all doing really well, seem to be protected enough from wind and the super dry air that we have here in Albuquerque. That's another reason that I put this on the patio, was I have a outlet right over there close by. I could easily run an extension cord and put a heater in here overnight if I needed to. So for $60, I really feel like this has been a great addition to my spring gardening setup. Yeah, overall, I think it's sturdy enough that I do expect it will last this entire year and maybe even be usable for me for maybe a second year. So that's kind of what I hope. I'm hoping that I can kind of get all this stuff started, probably take this down, store it for a couple of months, and then I'll probably put it up in late summer or early fall when I plan to start some new seedlings to put out for my fall garden. So, and then after that, I'll put it away for the winter and see if it's still in good enough shape to use next year in 2022. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching this episode of Anderson's Outdoors. I hope you found it helpful. This little review of a mini greenhouse, potentially as something that you could use for your own home garden. Take it easy, and we'll catch you next time.